with Gina.
The news with Gina Grad.
Hey, I want to tell you guys real quick that Shelby American, the doc, the definitive story of Carol Shelby, who you now know is in the theater, played by Matt Damon, is available at Chassis, Blu-ray, DVD, and download at CHASSY. It's going good, so check that out, because that is the real story of Carol Shelby. All right, sorry, go ahead, Gina Grad.
Sure. Well, lots on the agenda today, but I do have some very, very important breaking news that I want to make sure we hit first, because it is breaking across the wire right now. Our very own Chris Maxipada, expert executive producer extraordinaire. It is his birthday today, and we love him, and we wanted to show him very, very special appreciation with a very, very, very special cake that Gary ran out and got for him. Chris, do you want to describe what you were just handed?
Yeah, the cake says Happy B-Day, Chris, and it has the infamous Salt Lake City arch.
How did you have to explain that to these cake artists?
I drew a picture.
That's
awesome.
That's the best you can do.
I literally was sitting last night in the sort of comics corral upstairs of the Laugh Factory.
I hear where this is going.
I was talking to a brother who's a comedian I've seen a few times around, and we're just chit-chatting, and he goes, well, every time I go back to St. Louis, I go, hold the phone. Let me tell you a story. I was in Salt Lake City. Yeah? I said, let me tell you about your arch.
Adam, I looked it up. There's no record of an arch in Salt Lake
That's
City.
right.
I can if I asked around.
Max Pass, 34 years young.
Yeah.
Baby.
Good. He's a baby.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry.
I mean, elder.
Go ahead.
elder.
Yeah.
We love you. Happy birthday,
Thank you.
Chris. And I apologize for this segue that's coming. NBC News reports that 2 guards at a federal prison in Manhattan have been indicted in connection with the investigation into accused sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. We spoke about this with AJ Benza just the other day.
Is this, to me, is this one of those things where you go to all the high-powered guys who he has to have photos of or pictures of
Some
or
kind of
whatever
record,
guys,
yeah.
records of? Is this one of those things where it's like, look, kill him. I don't care if everyone says it was murder. He's dead, and there's going to be no. We argue for the end of time.
Yeah, there's no testimony.
Yeah.
I look at this whole story as just an indicator of how far down we've gone since the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah, this is now we're
This is what we
we're
got.
into killing these guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just a little bit of backstory. Michael Thomas and Tova Noel, they were on duty the night before Epstein was found dead by suicide, August 10th, have been indicted by a grand jury with 6 counts tied to falsifying prison records. The allegations are Thomas and Noel sat at their desk, browsed the internet. They were looking for furniture online, all whatever, and moved around a common
Coffins.
area, but never conducted any rounds that night. So the indictment says that approximately 10:30 the night before until 6:30 a.m. In the morning when Epstein was found dead, the 2 never checked on him or any inmate in the jail's special housing unit.
And let me say this about guards. They're not the best and the brightest. The basic thing, the people that fall through the cracks. And we're essentially saying, here's a uniform and $4,000 a month so you won't be a criminal.
Right.
We're essentially
You're here
going to
anyway.
recruit you to be on the happy side of the law.
We know what you want to do.
Right. And then you'll sit around and not do your job.
Yeah, and I think that maybe it's not misleading. Maybe I was projecting, but I think all the headlines on this were, in a way, a little misleading. I thought they were going to say, they were going to tie it to they did something actively to make sure that they weren't going to be around. All they're saying is they just neglected to do their job that night.
Didn't they? The ones I always feel sorry for is the brother of the world's worst person on the planet, and they have to step up at some point and go, this is a mockery of a sham. It's like, okay. First off, he wasn't cleaning the cell and got choked out. He was in there because he was a pedophile.
You can lie low. You can lie low on this one.
Yeah, okay, brother. We appreciate you weighing in on this, but
Yeah, at least Ted Kaczynski's brother turned them in.
yes.
That's right.
Yes.
American hero.
Famous dime droppers. Then there's the other guy, the whatever killer was caught off the DNA off his brother.
The Golden State Killer.
The Golden State Killer. Come on, family members.
Step
Get involved.
up.
Yeah. Sis, if you're listening, park it. Everyone else.
Thanksgiving's canceled.
Let's get going.
Well, speaking of parking, it's starting in January, Brian. I feel like this is going to affect you more than anyone else.
LAX.
Better. Much better. The happy side.
Oh.
Southern California residents with a long commute can choose to ditch traffic and fly to work. It's called FLOAT. It stands for Fly Over All Traffic. It's a commuter air service that has agreements to operate a fleet of 9 passenger planes.
Planes, not helicopters.
Planes at 40 small airports throughout Southern California. We got Burbank, John
Santa Monica?
Wayne. No, Camarillo, Big Bear, but I'm sure that's coming.
It's right down the street.
But like van pools, routes will be determined by customer demand. There's a membership cost of $12.50 a month. That's 5 days a week flights. So
I
that's
just
about
wanna
$30
chime in.
a flight.
Van Pool was my gay porn name.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
You didn't know that?
No.
I spell pool differently, but yeah.
Oh, with the umlauts?
Yeah.
Okay, I
But
didn't realize
Van
that.
still work nice.
Sure.
It's 2 U's.
Working with Van Pool, huh? Yeah, he's a pro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He always gets it done on time.
Good. Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's always do this.
The only trick, well, I guess if you're going from like Burbank to Van Nuys or something, you know what I
Or
mean?
downtown.
Like, where would it land downtown?
You
I don't know.
That's the trick.
Like
It's
a
got to land
helipad.
somewhere.
Yeah, you're right.
yeah.
You're right.
This traffic problem in LA is so easily solvable.
How do we do it?
You just ban one ethnic group per day from
Oh,
driving.
yeah.
I mean, and
Some days will be lighter than others.
And you know, you
Lighter.
just if you want to sell it, you just go. Remember how great things were on Rosh Hashanah last year
That's right.
They always are.
when there were no Jews on the road?
Yes.
It was fantastic.
It's always a light traffic day.
I know. All right. I just want to pick the order, if that's all right. You know, the Swedes aren't making a dent in this thing.
No.
But, we start with the Armenians, and then, you know, I'll let a representative of your group make an argument to me as to why you shouldn't be next. You
We
know
could
what I
have
mean?
we could have the whole EU for one. You know, like no Wednesdays.
Yeah.
You're going to have like regions, you know what I mean? Like Mexico. You can't just like Hispanic. Mexico one day, South, Central America the next day.
Yeah. I get it. Plan it. I'm a paisan. I'll pick Sundays.
Sure.
You're going to be watching
Your
football
day of
anyway.
rest.
Yeah.
All right, so to look forward to that. That should be early next year. PG&E says it has found suspicious.
How about this? How about this? And then not only is this a way to lighten the traffic load, but it's a way to bring cultures together, which is you may travel on your nation's travel day, be it Italian, Hispanic, Armenian, whatever, but you must have at least 3 other Armos in the car.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You gather up your Armenian friends, you put them under the same roof,
It's a
and there we go.
Mandatory carpool day.
Right. And you guys can look for some good falafel or kebab or, whatever it is. I'm
Kuba
just
day.
throwing out ideas.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Love Kuba Day.
It's delicious.
PG&E says it found suspicious monetary claims by victims of California wildfires, including one man who says a 500-pound emerald worth $280 million was destroyed at his home in the fire, in the deadly wildfire.
Yeah.
The utility company is probing exceptionally large monetary claims, which appear suspicious, according to the court filing to determine PG&E's liability.
Hey, PG&E, play this one close to the vest.
Yeah.
It's shocking they're still a company.
Yeah, they do want their victims' documents, and they would like to see a receipt for the
They
emerald.
blew up a city.
Yeah.
And they're still a company.
They're the worst. And also the people that, like, after Katrina or the earthquake or whatever, start filing,
Yep.
trying to get some money out of FEMA and stuff. How bad are they?
These are not good people.
The people that set up these funds for the people affected by Katrina, but they were in Atlantic City at
Yep.
the time, and to try to get the
Right.
GoFundMe
Disgusting.
thing.
Yep.
Could you not have a mirror in your house? Like, at a certain point, don't you have to go, like, don't you have to live with you at some point? Like, that's
yeah.
just who you
Right.
are. Like, hey, Bob, where'd you get the new Trans Am? Well, funny story.
Remember
remember the tragedy of Katrina? Yeah.
So many people lost their lives.
It wasn't all
Right.
tragic.
You know how I live in Atlanta? Yep. Okay, here's what I did with my laptop.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
You know what I mean?
But to Brian's point, maybe they just pay this out and move on.
PG&E
Yeah,
is
well, yeah, I was going to say.
bad, too.
Or maybe they look in the mirror and go, God, I'm so smart.
Yeah, they probably see a smart person. looking back at
Congratulations,
them.
you.
Good job.
So, Adam, you've brought up white lung on this show multiple times.
White lung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, refresh us as to what that is.
I happen to know that all the stuff we get hysterical about kind of comes back to bite us in the ass. And I started hearing about like little stupid things like 12 years ago when you talk to a nutritionist, they go like, how much do you weigh? 200 pounds. You got to drink 200 ounces of water every 10 minutes. You have to overhydrate and blah, blah, blah. And you go, that sounds like nonsense to me. But everyone starts preaching it. You're not drinking enough water. And then at some point, a study comes out, and it turns out you're supposed to drink when you're thirsty. That's the new study.
Yeah.
Okay. I start seeing all the Purell and all the veggie wash and all the spray and everything. And I start seeing kids getting slathered with sunscreen. And you're taking chemicals, you're just rubbing it all over them. And then you start hearing dermatologists going, you put on sunscreen every day. Like, even if you're walking to the mailbox, you should have sunscreen.
Look out your window.
And I'm like, when did the sun become so evil? And how come when I was a kid, we just take our shirts off and go on the front lawn and play with the hose for 9 hours in summer? No one had sunscreen. And then I started seeing moms spraying it all over the kid, like they had the aerosol, the weaponized version of it. And the kid, and mom would be screaming, no, come here, shh. The kid's just standing there in a cloud of this shit. Like, I know leaf blowers are going to be the worst fucking thing in the world. Like, they're already outlawed. They won't enforce it, but the leaf blowers are going to prove to be the death of us all. But just shh. And you have this chemical compound being sprayed on this kid. Close your eyes. Shh. Yep. They're breathing it in.
Yeah. Hence, white lung.
That's white lung.
So there's a new sheriff in town.
That's the name of my dog, by the way. It's a part wolf. To a Van Poole, the gay porn star's never seen without his half-wolf dog, White Lung.
Son of White Fang.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a new lung sheriff in town. A UK man's innocent decision to change his bedding caused him to develop a strange, rare condition that left him gasping for air, according to doctors. In a new case study, they detail how the man came down with a rare form of allergy to bird feathers that filled his duvet cover, his duvet and pillows. It's known as duvet lung.
Are duvets still filled with feathers? It's all synthetic.
If you pay enough.
Wow.
According to the study, the 43-year-old man had suffered months of dizziness and fatigue and breathlessness. He finally visited his doctor. At first, the doctor assumed he had bronchitis, but by December, it worsened to the point he could no longer walk to the next room without being out of breath.
I'm sorry, this guy's a puss.
Well, listen to this. Apparently,
allergic to down.
He has duvet lung. The man had a particular illness that tends to strike people who raise and work closely with birds. They call it bird fancier's lung.
I had dust ruffle syndrome for a long time, but I was able to shake it.
That's good. How'd you beat it?
Oh, it's hard work.
Yeah.
No,
willpower.
No substitute. Yeah,
the other, the wristband.
The other, we are trying to raise money. The other syndrome that I decided was something we're causing is something I called floating liver. It's from going through the airport going through the security and realize you paid $8 for a thing of water 10 minutes ago at the newsstand, and now I chug. I'm not throwing away this $8 fine. I just stand there and just literally shotgun 71 ounces of water. So there's going to be white lung and floating liver.
Floating kidney.
Floating kidney.
I think, yeah.
Or whatever it was.
It's a major organ.
It's a major organ.
Something's floating.
So South Dakota was attempting to get their residents to say no to drugs, but they apparently came up really with the slogan. I don't know if you've seen this yet, but we have a picture of it. It's called Meth. We're on it. Though the campaign was mocked endlessly on the internet, the state governors took to social media and they defended it. Governor Kristi Noem.
What does that one say?
Meth. I'm on it.
Thank you.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Wrote, hey, Twitter, the whole point of this ad campaign is to raise awareness, so I think it's working. According to the newspaper, the campaign so far has cost the state about $500,000. That's about a third of it's $1.4 million. South Dakota agreed to pay a Minnesota-based advertising agency to come up with this.
Oh no!
And
who's the agency?
It doesn't say, but I would love for Kristi to find out. Meth, we're on it.
Could be Stupid, and Dumber. I've worked with those guys for a while.
How great is that?
They're overrated.
Meth. It's so insidious. They mean like I'm on it.
Like we're on the case.
We're on the case.
Yeah.
But these guys are high school football team. What do they mean that they're on? Like, were they going kicking in warehouse doors and yelling "No time for backup"? Or are they just practicing peewee football?
Yeah, that's a very good question. One for the advertising agency.
I was looking at this ad for Sprite in this new genderless world where Sprite is super woke, and Sprite has all these like transitioning kids and supportive parents, and it's all part of the Sprite, by the way. Sprite is a delivery system for corn syrup for 11-year-olds.
Right.
So I know you guys claim to love kids, but drinking soda is about the worst thing you can do to your body when you're 0 to 15. But the mom is putting makeup on the first kid. It's from Argentina, by the way. If you watch, it's very progressive. It's a mom doing up her son. And then the next kid is getting a boob smasher.
Like a corset.
But there's no boobs to hold back. Come on, let me see some jugs. And then they're dressing up like a gal, except for they were a gal. Wait a minute, is this somebody else?
Wait, that second one was a girl who was developing
I think
breasts,
it was
right?
somebody else.
Trying to smash him down.
Wait,
the second
pause
one
it
was
for a
a
second. No, I know, but she didn't have any breasts.
That was also
But
true.
Who is there a third person that's different, or is this the first thing? I thought the first two people were the same person.
I think the third
Screwed
person
me
is
up.
different. The third person is there with their grandma. I think it's a
they're all
different person.
I think those are all different kids.
Oh, okay.
That's not the same kid as that kid.
Vignettes.
Yeah. Well, look. Let me see some titties if we're gonna suppress something.
What do we keep it down?
Keep them down, man. Can't hold the titties back. And then the grandma's helping with the corset,
With the drag show.
the drag show. And then in the end, the dad's driving his gay teenage boys, or his boy and his boyfriend to the gay pride parade. I just think it's funny that it's all sponsored by Sprite, which has been essentially poisoning kids since 1961.
Gina's getting emotional.
The mom is so happy. Grandma's so progressive. My grandma would have dug this shit. The dad is looking in the rearview. The dad gives a look, though. It's not really, I don't know if he approves. I'm not sure if he's down with the son and the gay pride. I guess he's got a little longing. A little longing in his eye. All right. Anyway, Van Pool was my gay porn.
Oddly enough, that was done by the same North Carolina North Dakota ad agency.
They got some range, man.
They really do.
They really went international.
This guy, we're on him.
I'm on meth.
This guy, I'm behind him. And like I say all the time, the only instance of somebody's identity being stolen and then having it been returned with an apology is my buddy Ray.
Yeah.
Hey, this FICO score. We're thieves, and your FICO score screwing up our
This was
credit.
a waste of time. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Ray hates that joke. You know what joke? You know the joke he hates the most? Because he's a carpenter. I go, here's how bad the state of carpentry is. And I mean it. I go, Ray, you're in demand.
Yeah.
That's how bad it
Say
is.
That's all you need to know.
You are in demand.
That's right.
He hates that joke.
Sultan.
I tell him I'm not joking. And then he hates it more.
Hates that statement.
Yes.
Chris did a little sleuthing. Broadhead Company, it's the ad agency out of Minnesota. They paid almost $500,000 for that ad. So maybe Christy's heard of him. So Rob Gronkowski took to social media over the weekend and teased a big announcement that he was going to make on Tuesday. And New England Patriots fans feel very let down by the former tight end now that they know what the announcement is. If you haven't heard, Gronkowski is planning to be in attendance at the Super Bowl in Miami, but not as a player. He's hosting a music festival called Gronk Beach. The press release reads, he might not be playing in the game this year, but he is taking Miami by storm with his personal music festival, Gronk Beach.
I'm surprised Gronk doesn't get Me Too, because there's tons of footage of him like jiggling his girlfriend's titties and stuff. Like,
Really?
Put up a picture of Gronk and Lynette.
He like reaches around and grabs her and like all this
my.
stuff, and it's like because he's Gronk, he's like Gronk, and
It's like Teflon.
yeah,
He was like the juice.
Al Franken's got to look at this shit and go, "Come on,
This guy.
Jesus Christ!" Put my hands outside of a flak jacket. I got tossed out of the.
Oh, boy.
There's a
There's
picture of
Lynette.
him and Lynette at the rehab at
Who's
the Hard
grabbing
Rock.
who?
He's giant.
He's a big man.
He's a giant man. But I'm telling you, like during the parade and stuff of the Super Bowl and everything, he's just all over her, and she's all fun about it, but I don't know.
That'll be your next park bench couple, Gronk and Al Franken.
And Al Franken.
So it says, constructed right on the sand of Miami Beach, Gronk's eccentric personality will come to life, combining his favorite artists, food, drinks, beach performers, and more. Gronkowski has until November 30th to decide whether or not he will return from the reserve retired list, but this probably means he does not have plans to get back on the field if he's planning a beach party.
You know they do, and they put like horses get paid and they go to stud. Yeah. Shouldn't we hook Gronk's dad up to some sort of milking machine? Because he's got brothers that are all gronked up, and he's all gronked up. I mean, this ain't one and done. He's got a whole family of big old dudes.
Are they all football players?
They're all something. Yeah.
I love where your head's at, but maybe the mom's the athletic one. You know what I mean? We got to get Gronk and the brothers to start doing.
I'll harvest an egg or two. Yeah. But
Brian, what are you implying?
The dad's pretty gronky. I don't know. You can find a picture of the dad and the brothers. The dad's I don't know. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree or whatever it is. His dad's kind of a specimen himself.
Okay, so put him out to stud,
or at least
at least milk him.
Yeah.
Whoa, that's a big family.
It's a big bunch of dudes.
The Gronk boys.
Dad's pretty damn strapping too.
The one on the left looks like the athletic one.
It's good seed, man.
So many of them.
I know.
That looks like a Proud Boys march.
Mm-hmm. Proud Boys.
Well, look at their outfits. But I'm
that's
sure
the title of one of Van Pool's movies.
Proud Boys march.
I think we just left it at Proud Boys.
So
boys with a Z, give it kind of an urban flavor.
We were talking beer earlier, and I want to make sure you know that with the holiday traditions coming up, Miller High Life has officially created a noteworthy one. Last year, for the first time, the champagne of beers was sold nationwide in actual champagne bottles, just in time for everyone's holiday celebrations. Hold on.
Anchor seems been doing that for years.
Now, for 2019... they're bringing them back. Last year, the limited edition bottles proved so buzzworthy that they sold out nationwide. And the brand says the bottles are hitting the shelves this month with a suggested retail price of $3.49.
Yeah, you know, the thing about beer is
so
no beer makes it the night in the fridge because of the carbonation, right? So it's like if you open a large container of beer, unless you find opening a can is like a bridge too far. Like, I feel like a 16-ounce tall boy, that's perfect, fits right in that pint glass. It's good. And then if you want another one, it'll be fresh and fully carbonated in 2 hours versus the... See, there's always a little trick. Tell me if you guys have experienced this first world problem. I think this is what I like to. I'm going to do a coffee table book called "What Black People Think White People Talk About," and this will be one of them. Don't you hate it when you open a bottle of champagne and you put the stopper in it and you go to put it in the fridge, but with the stopper in it, it's too tall for any of the shelves in the fridge. So you lie it on its side, but you're scared that the carbonation is going to like push it out and you're going to open the fridge and it's all going to come pouring out in 2 hours.
Underneath it and put it at an angle.
Don't you hate it?
That's the worst.
It's the worst. It's a nightmare.
Yeah. I only drink Sprite.
Sure. Out of a champagne glass?
Now that you've been freed. Sorry.
Well, don't you hate that idiots catch on to things like this late? Like, it's like when the Beatles came out and it's like Little Richard's like, hey, motherfucker, I've been doing this for fucking 5 years.
Right.
Actually, he's been doing these holiday magnums for years.
Part of that conversation is going to make the book. Not the beginning part.
You're irate on their behalf.
I'm so upset.
Well, 2 Arkansas chemistry professors apparently took Breaking Bad to heart. They were charged Friday in connection with making meth, just like Bryan Cranston's chemistry professor character on the AMC hit. According to the Clark County Sheriff's Department, 45-year-old Terry Bateman and 40-year-old Bradley Rowland were charged with using drug paraphernalia and manufacturing methamphetamine. Meth. We're on it. That's right. How did they get caught? Well, a spokesperson for the school said the university's science center was closed on October 8th due to a report of an undetermined chemical odor. And initial tests indicated that there were an elevated presence of benzyl chloride, which is used to produce meth in a laboratory.
Meth is so insidious. Like, I don't get why it's attractive. I get coke, I get pot, I get booze, like they're different highs, but I get psychedelic mushrooms and stuff like that. Like, not for me, but I've tried it. I get it. Like, I go, look, I get that. Meth is just weird and fucks you up and is evil and you can't go to bed.
Yeah,
like,
the
it's
side
just
effects
bad.
of it.
Yeah, it's like it's not fun.
Does anyone dabble in meth and say, "Yeah, not for me"? You know what I mean? Like it's super addictive, right?
I've tried it before.
Well, obviously, someone has.
And it's like, it's just like at some point you go like, fuck, I want to go to bed. And you go, but I can't. And then you go, I want to go to bed. And then you go, this isn't fun anymore.
And you're picking all the skin off of your arm and your face.
That's next. And then I'm like, this is no fun.
Yeah.
It's too
highly, highly addictive. Well, of course you didn't get addicted to it. You don't get addicted to anything. You're not allergic to anything.
Well, that's true. But
meth.
You're
on it.
I am a chocoholic.
Just on Fridays.
Look, I know there's a chemistry, and I know some people have the alcoholic gene, and we've all known, many greats have had the alcoholic gene. But I don't know. Do any of the greats have the meth gene?
Good question.
Well,
I don't know. Was Winston Churchill, was he on the meth? I'm saying, like, does it work on smart people? Is kind of what I'm asking.
I think Lemmy, notoriously, is probably the most famous person we know is constantly on meth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, he was a genius.
That's not exactly what you're asking, but like that was big in baseball in the 70s, right? Greenies and amphetamines.
I think there's a difference between uppers, so to speak, so that you can perform. It's that kind of that thing of like you've been traveling on a red eye and you got to get out there and you've got to perform on stage with the band or in center field with the Mets or whatever. I feel like that's an Elvis-y kind of thing. Like, I don't know. Wouldn't think of Elvis as a meth head. I'd think of him as a performance guy. It's like, take this pill, go to bed. Yeah. Then when you get up, when you got to perform, you got to take this pill. And eventually you have a war of pills because once you start taking the ones that bring you down, you have to start taking the ones that bring you up. But
supposedly, according to Ranker.com, Adolf Hitler was prescribed a regular pill which contained crystal meth.
Wait, did we decide if he's a genius or not?
He said,
Adam, it's up to you.
I think by any objective measure, Hitler was a genius. He's an evil genius, but like any James Bond villain's a genius.
Well, on that
Brian.
note, the kamikaze pilots in Japan were notoriously on meth. That's how they got them to dive bomb into aircraft carriers.
Oh, they were?
Yeah.
It's funny because they did a shot of sake before they got them. I get the sake. It's like they must have talked about that in the command center. Like, why do we want them getting a little buzzed, a little drunk before they operate this Zero aircraft? Well, we are asking them to fly into a ship. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then now I hear your argument. That makes sense. Because I'm not a fan of drinking before you operate a tail dragger. But if you're going to fly, if we're going to ask you to fly it into a ship, then I think a little buzz helps.
Wouldn't it be interesting, though, if they said, well, he's high on meth. We need to level him out a little bit so we can really get down into it.
Yeah. And for those who don't want the sake and don't want the meth and are just high on life, enjoy the next 11 to 13 minutes.
Rufus Wainwright?
What?
Was on meth for a long time.
Oh. Really?
I'm just looking. According to Ranker, please don't quote me on that.
Allegedly.
All right. Well, he's the guy who thinks Hitler was a genius. So.
Again, an evil genius. I want to be very clear about that.
He had all the right moves, right, Brian?
Again, I'm. The pills and the doctor and who knows what they had back in the day, the mother's little helpers and things like that. But I'm just talking about the guys that just snort it, do it, just keep doing it. Like, who are those? Now, I know there's a kind of a white trash thing, but I mean, it does seem to affect people that aren't that high up on the ladder, don't have a lot of degrees. You know what I mean? Like, other guys fall into alcoholism after they become millionaires or have a relationship with cocaine or pharmaceuticals or something like that. But that's
the
snort of
Oxycontin and the meth,
yes.
Well, they're people who start off with really bad teeth.
Oh, you're right.
So
it's a self-selecting group.
Yeah, they may be grandfathered in from an orthodontist standpoint.
They don't have as far to fall.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Think of it like that.
Yeah, that was on Ranker also.
John F. Kennedy received shots of methamphetamine to cure his chronic back.
Wow. All right.
Addison's disease.
Is that what it was?
That's what he had.
Oh.
Did not know that. All right, I've turned the whole corner on this meth thing. Chris, find me some meth.
On it.
All right, let's do one more.
All right. Well, Burger King has been hit with a class action lawsuit by a group of vegans who claim the fast food giant made false claims about its Impossible Whopper being a vegan alternative at all. The suit argues that since Burger King cooks the plant-based burger on the same grill as the meat-based burger, it cannot claim the Impossible Whoppers are vegan. It goes on to state that there are no disclosures on the menu letting customers know that the Impossible Whopper shares the same grill as the regular Whopper. The lawsuit, which was filed by a man named Philip Williams, seeks unknown damages and a court order forcing Burger King to cook Impossible Whoppers on a separate grill. Remember when this happened with McDonald's fries?
It's just we're so out of fucking problems, and these guys can't stop. And also, it lets me know. It's kind of funny because, like, I don't like to talk about myself, but here it goes. Dennis Prager once, who's a very religious man, said to me, "You're an atheist." And I said, "Yeah, I am an atheist." And he said, "Okay." And he said, "But do you wish there were a God?" And I went, "Yeah, of course I wish there were a God. Why not?" And he goes, "Oh. Well, that's surprising." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because most people I talk to are atheists go, 'No, I don't wish there were God.'" And I go, "Oh, because they're assholes. They just want to argue about it." You know what I mean? It's
that is their religion.
That is their religion. And these assholes with their veganism, that's how I know they're all assholes. Like if you just went, "I don't eat meat or animal protein or whatever," fine. God bless you. But you're really pissed off at your stepdad. That's what got you into this fucking behavior. And now you have to spread it out all along the land. And that's my feeling with almost everyone in their movement. Handful actually agree with the movement or are down with the movement. The other fucking half are just assholes that are pissed at their fucking dad, and now we've become their dad. It's like me. I'm an atheist. I don't give a shit. I hope everyone's religious. I'm just not a movement. I don't want to turn my non-religion into a religion.
Well, you are pissed at your dad. But
I am pissed at my dad, but that's not
separate.
Totally
it's not your
separate.
fault, Brian. I could take it out on you.
Thank you.
And by the way, since when is Burger King like the hot vegan hangout?
Yeah, who's really disappointed with this?
I don't know. And also, I was thinking about, I was listening to poor Chick-fil-A caving to the right, left woke folk because they have to, like, they can't donate to the Salvation Army or the Christian Boys, whatever, because the LGBT community is not down with them and they're not letting them open in the San Antonio airport. And so Chick-fil-A's got a cave. But my feeling is this. If you have a killer chicken sandwich, you never have to apologize. I've learned from Popeyes.
I was going to say,
people will
Popeyes.
Fucking kill each other for your product. They'll get
stab
a
each
fucking
other.
fist fight
Yep.
in the lobby of your restaurant for $4 worth of chicken sandwich. So my thing is if you make a organic veggie burger or something, by all means, apologize. If you make a killer chicken sandwich, tell them I'm going to suck your dick because everyone needs it, and they'll put all of the moral judging aside to get to your sandwich.
Oh, there was a crew, one of the southern locations of Popeyes that carried a woman out the door and body slammed her onto the sidewalk.
Don't care.
Over the chicken
we'll
sandwich.
Physically fight strangers
That's right.
in the street for a chicken sandwich.
So you got the goods.
And I know you couldn't tell by looking at him, but Fluffy Gabriel Iglesias enjoys a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Oh, how about that?
Is this news? Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if
It's not come up before, so.
Well, you wouldn't tell by looking at it. But what I'm saying is he enjoys that sandwich. And he, like, put something up the other day, like, hey, loving a Chick-fil-A, because he's political. He doesn't know anything's going on, and then he got destroyed.
For enjoying
for enjoying the sandwich. But what I'm saying is all you super woke douchebags, good luck trying to get Fluffy not to go back into the Chick-fil-A. That's an impossibility. See what I'm saying?
This whole concept of trying to keep your money out of the wrong pockets is like the most vain, just the most futile thing in the world.
Especially when it comes to chicken sandwiches.
Yeah.
Like I could see.
Well, especially when it comes to pizza.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are all lunatics, but, you're still going to have your pizza.
You can make the argument where I could go, okay, maybe I won't buy Nike and I'll wear a Puma instead. Like I could see that, but you can't make that argument with chicken sandwiches.
No.
It's fucking proven. It's scientifically proven that people will take lives.
The evidence is all
for
around
fast
us.
food
Yes.
sandwich. Okay,
Yes.
so good luck. All right, let's bring it home.
You got it. I'm Gina Grad, and that's the news. Meth. I'm on it.
That was the news with Gina Grad.